Hi there, my name is Jen, and I thank you for joining me on the Not Too Shabby Shop YouTube channel today for a few cards using the Stamp and Die of the month for the month of May, and this is Coffee with My Nomies. And so you can either get the stamp set or the stamp and the die set. This is subscription based, and I'll go ahead and leave the link below for that if you're interested. So I thought for today's cards, I'd change up my card making process. And so usually I pick out the papers or what I'm going to use depending on the stamp. But today I thought I would grab some of my solid cardstock and choose everything based on that. And so what I did was I cut 3 pieces of cardstock, different colors, 4¼ by 5½, and then I cut a piece of white cardstock, 5 by 3¾ and then I went to Pinterest and I have a bunch of color combinations, and a lot of times that is how I will pick out a color combination. And I wrote down on the back of the white panel what colors I wanted to color the gnomes, and so I went ahead and I did all of that off camera, but that green one I wanted to use blues and greens, and then the teal one I wanted to use pinks and purples, which I didn't use purples, but I used pinks. And then on the last one I wanted to use orange and yellow, so that all of the colors kind of go together really nicely with that cardstock. And then I took 2 dies from my stash and layered them and created a frame. And so all of these are the pieces that came from that one run through my die cut machine. And I'll go ahead and choose which frame I want for each Nomi. And I colored these gnomes mostly with my Spectrum Noir alcohol markers, and so they're all stamped up in Memento black ink. And then I had this little box, kind of like a little junk box that has little scraps and things like that. And I just grabbed a few items out of that I thought might go well with some of the cards. And so I grabbed a bunch of stuff out, and I ended up using a few of those pieces, just basically leftover pieces from other projects. I don't normally keep scraps per se, but I do keep a lot of like little die cut pieces and maybe sentiments that I don't end up using for whatever reason. And so they come in really handy when creating quick cards, because then I can just go in the box and find a few little elements that might work for something else. And so here on this last one, this first one, I was trying to add some clouds and stars, and I didn't really like it, and so I don't end up using much on that one. But I grabbed all of my sentiments from my leftovers and basically all of my background pieces as well. And then I didn't want to leave the white panels totally white, and so I went ahead and I grabbed a stencil and matched that up with each of the cards. And then I'm going to pick out a coordinating Catherine Pooler ink for each of these stencils and the backgrounds. For the teal one, I am using some of the Aquatini with that dandelion stencil, and then I'll just adhere that to my card panel. And then I'm going to take my little strips and elements and pieces and start adhering those. For this kind of clear piece with the design on it, I just added the double-sided adhesive to the back of the white dots so that you wouldn't be able to see them. But in general, I found that if you're adding a clear piece onto a fairly a busy background, or a background like this, that you're generally not going to be able to see that acetate anyhow. But I just made sure to keep that behind the circles. Then I added a little bit of 1/8 inch foam to the back of this frame, and I'll go ahead and adhere that. And then for my girl, I added a little bit of liquid adhesive as well as foam. And then I'm going to add the happy birthday sentiment. And the happy was in the box, but it is from one of those Dymo letter makers. I think that's what it's called. label makers. It's an embossed label maker is basically what it is. And then I added a few honeybee gems, and that's going to finish off that first card. And then for the next card, I'm going to use some of the Catherine Pooler ink in Grass Skirt. And so I'm using that along with the kind of like little flower stencil. And so I'll just go ahead and follow that same process and add a little bit of the stencil pattern to my panel. And if you're interested in the stamp and die for the month of May, it is still available. You do not have to sign up for the subscription to be able to purchase this. You can purchase this by itself without getting a subscription, but you do get a little bit of a discount, I believe 18% when you purchase it using the reoccurring subscription option. And if you're familiar with the Not Too Shabby Shop subscriptions, there is a paper pad subscription as well as a box of the month subscription. And the box of the month sells out very frequently. In fact, the May box sold out, and I can tell you just as a little insider information, the June box is going to be fabulous. So we'll start showing sneak peeks of that towards the end of May, but you're not going to want to miss that one. I am thinking that's going to be a fast sellout as well because it is just that great. So for my last card, I am using this MFT stencil, and I have used the Party Dress ink from Catherine Pooler. And then I'm taking the little elements and adhering them. This little kind of notebook paper piece that I got from my box of scraps is going to be popped up with some foam, and I also added a little bit of twine with a bow in it, and so that'll go ahead and be added to the card. And then I'll pop up my little Nomi as well. And then for this one I added a few clear sequins, and that's going to finish off this card and the cards for my video today. We would love it if you would join our Facebook group and follow us on social media, and all of that information will be below. If you like this video, I'd love a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next month using the box of the month. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a fabulous day.